Welcome to Gas Station Business 101 podcast. I'm your host, Shabir Hussain, and this is episode number 22.
Welcome to the one and only Gas Station Business 101 podcast, where you can learn all the secrets about how to start and operate a gas station business successfully and make money. This podcast is brought to you by the good folks at CSB Academy Publishing Company. And now, here is your host, Shabir Hussain.
Hello there. Once again, welcome to episode number 22. And as I mentioned in last episode, today I want to talk about a very important topic, which is EMV upgrade. Even though what the information that I will be talking about will be directed to gas station and convenience stores, but it applies to every retail sector of the business that handles credit card payments. Now, I have received many emails regarding EMV upgrade, and there are many questions that people ask me because I'm sure that some of these people are confused because the information that they're receiving can be little confusing. And at first, I was confused as well, trying to figure out who's telling me the right thing, who's telling me to buy something when I don't really need to, because there are so many parties involved in this thing. So it can be very easily confusing to many people. And what I have done is I have talked to a few oil companies and some credit card processors. And I came up with some of the answers that I've been asked via email by at least 7 or 8 people. And the questions that I mostly got, I'm going to answer all of those, but I'm going to mention those questions first so you know what I will be answering in this episode. First question that I'm going to answer is, what is EMV update? Next, somebody asked, why is it required? Then somebody asked, when is the deadline? Somebody else asked, what is the cost? Followed by, what are the pros? What are the cons? And what should I do? Well, there are many things that we need to do, and there are few things we do not have to do. So let's address one at a time. And as I said, I will try to answer every question that I've received so far. And hopefully, I will clear up some of the confusion that some of you may have and take the right approach and the decision to handle and comply with this upgrade. First, what is an EMV update? Well, let's talk about what is EMV stand for. It stands for EuroPay Visa MasterCard. EuroPay is a credit card type payment processing for countries in Europe. And similarly, in United States, we have Visa MasterCard, which are also widely accepted in European countries. But it is a system that most of the banks, and when I say most of the banks, I should say all of the banks and the credit card processing network got together and agreed on a platform, on a system, and they called it an EMV upgrade, meaning they came up with a system that they will implement to fight fraud. And I'm sure all of you have seen or heard somebody that you know have been victim of credit card fraud. And most of the time, these fraudulent activities take place with your credit card when it is still with you, but somehow somebody stole your numbers, and there is something called skimming devices. Let's say your credit card was never stolen, but you used it at a gas station or at a retail place. When you swipe the card, if there is a device called skimming device within 2 or 3 feet of your card being swiped, it automatically catches your credit card numbers along with all the other vital information. So the thief can later on use that machine and skim all those information and charge your card without you knowing about it. Since the thieves invented this type of skimming devices where they sometimes install those devices inside a pump without the owner of the gas station knowing about it. What they do is, wherever you scan your credit card, you will see there are some screws that holding the panel. They somehow open that panel and put a skimming device inside that panel. And a couple of days later, they would come back, open the thing, and take their own device back, which will have hundreds of credit cards information in them. And most of the time, when you find out about it, you call your bank and they refund you that money. So ultimately, the banks are the one that are taking that loss. So to remedy that loss, they have come up with a smarter credit card, which is a chip installed credit card. When you listen to this episode, if you can go to my site, which is gasstationbusiness101.com, and go under podcast and look at this podcast. Every podcast has a image attached to that podcast. You will see a picture of a credit card with a chip in it. And I'm sure most of you that are carrying credit cards already received some of these newer type of credit cards. They're more secure credit cards through the mail from your bank. And if you did, take one out, take a look at it on the left-hand side. Or maybe on the right-hand side, there is a golden color chip that looks like a computer chip installed in it. This chip makes the card not skimmable by the thieves. So these are smarter credit cards. And for your business to be able to take that card, you need to upgrade your register and credit card processing machines. So that's why, since the government was getting into this thing, knowing that there are a lot of theft going on around the country and around the world, before the government can act what the credit card companies did, they decided they will act faster before the government does and come up with a plan so they can show the government that they are complying. At the same token, they're minimizing their losses because they've been losing a lot of money in this. And this EMV update we started talking about this about a year ago. And we had meetings from March, April, May, June of 2015. In case you're listening to this show at a much later date, most of the meetings for most of the retailers were held back in May and June of this year. But at that time, some of our oil companies and credit card processors did explain to us what is taking place, but some of us were still not very clear because we did not know what was going on. But now we know that this is what's going on and how we can fix this situation. Okay, now that I explained what EMV update is, let me talk about what is required. What is required is for you to upgrade your processing machine and software. So in a way, you will have to upgrade the hardware and the software of your processing system so you can comply with their requirements. Now, they have done their part, meaning they upgraded. I'm talking about when I say they, it's your credit card processing company. If you are with Shell, Mobil, or any other oil companies, they have their own processing network. But if you're another unbranded retailer, you may be with Chase or any other processing companies, but they have done their upgrades. Now it is time that you do your upgrade to comply and to be able to secure your customers' credit cards along with safety for your own business. Because if customers know you're not using those, they may stop coming to your store. And now we're going to touch on that more on the pros and cons. But so what is required of you is, as I said, to upgrade your hardware and software. So let's talk about what needs to be upgraded. Now, I'm going to talk from a gas station point first, then I will talk about other retailers. For gas stations, there are mostly three major players in this market. One is named called Gilbarco. They have a system called the Passport. Then there is somebody called Ruby Verifone. They have their own register system. And lastly, there is Wayne Nucleus. 95% of the gas stations are using one of these three register systems. All three came up with the new EMV compliant register system, which are completely new. It's not an upgrade, it's completely new. So if you have a system, let's say from Gilbarco or from Wayne or from Ruby, let's say you bought it a year ago or 2 years ago, it may not be compliant. So what you have to do is talk to your vendors and find out what you need to do. Most likely, you will have to get a totally new system. Now, before you get scared, I know it is expensive. We will talk about the cost and how to handle. But as far as requirements again, first, you have to upgrade the register system, or you have to pick one of those three. But let's say you have a Ruby system and you are happy with that system. You know the ins and outs of a Ruby system. Then most likely you will go with a Ruby. If you have Gilbarco, you will go with Gilbarco. If you have Wayne, you will go with Wayne. But there are people that switch based on the cost. And just because you switch doesn't mean you have to learn everything all over again, because most of these register systems are very user-friendly and they apply common sense approach. So if you have to switch, by all means you can do so, and it will not take you a month or weeks to learn that system. It may take you a day. So don't worry about what system you need to buy, but first figure out if you need to have that upgrade, who's the cheapest and who's the most reliable. Plus, you need to see which vendors in your area are capable of handling that switch or that upgrade. You need to hire a vendor that has vast experience in this. And if it costs you a few dollars extra, you need to pay that, because once you get a good vendor that has a lot of experience, the chances of your station being down for hours is less. So you lose less business at the same time. Let's talk about number 3, which is, when is the deadline? Well, since we're doing this episode in December 2015, the first deadline has passed. There are 2 deadlines to this deal. One was October 1st of 2015. And the deadline for October 1st, 2015 was that you need to upgrade your register system by October 1st, 2015. That means any credit card comes inside of your store and gets charged. And if there is a skimming device of some sort and their credit card information gets stolen, then you will get charged for it. So the deadline has passed on that one. But why am I talking about it now? Well, the reason I'm talking about it now, because a lot of the fuel companies, Exxon, Mobil, Shell, they have set up different deadlines because they're offering some incentives for you to get this upgrade done. As I said, this is expensive. So they wanted to share the expense, and some of those oil companies' deadlines are approaching very fast, meaning by December 31st, you have to have a verifiable order placed with a reputable or approved vendor. So once you do that, they will reimburse you maybe 30 to 50% of that cost. And I will touch on that in a second when I talk about cost. But as far as the deadline goes, as I said, the first deadline to upgrade your inside the store register system has passed. But you still have time to do that. Now, the second deadline is October 1st, 2017. Now, you have to upgrade your credit card terminal at the pump. If you're a gas station and you accept payments at the pump, your upgrade needs to be done by 2017, October 1st. And this time you will have to upgrade the outside. Most of you do not have to buy new dispensers. So let me assure you that you will not have to buy brand new dispensers. You have to have an upgrade done on the card reader side. And as of yet, I do not know how much it will cost. My estimation is that each side of the pump, each credit card reader may cost about $1,000 or so. It could be a little bit more, it could be a little less, but that's the estimate I've gotten from a very reputable vendor. Now, the deadline, you understand that it is inside has passed, which was October 1st, 2015, but the outside we still have time, which is 2017 by October 1st. Now, let's talk about how much is this going to cost. Well, I have talked to at least 3 different vendors, and I have gotten prices for all 3 of these register systems. Gilbarco being the most expensive one, right around $20,000, and Ruby, I believe, Verifone is around $19,000, and Wayne Nucleus came right around $18,500. So you can see these are very close. And again, if you're in California or New York or somewhere else, and you go to your vendor and you find out it costs $23,000, it could be that the area and the labor and everything else is higher in some of those areas. So my quotation, the price that I have gotten, may not be the best price for you. Some of you may call me or email me and say you have gotten it for much cheaper, and that very well might be the case for you, and I'm happy for you. So it is geographically variant, means it varies by where you are. But this is a rough estimation and idea. Now, as I said, that it cost, let's say, between $18,000 and $20,000. Do you have to pay that upfront? Well, it again depends on the vendor and the relationship you have with the vendor. So some of the vendors require that you put 50% down when you place the order. Then they go ahead and place an order with the company, and month and a half, 2 months later, when they come to install the system, you will have to pay them the other 50%. Now, as I said, most of the oil companies are pitching in. They're not paying 50%, but they're paying quite a good percentage of the cost. They're sharing it, I should say. For example, Chevron is offering $7,000 for a dual system. And now again, all of these price quotes that I've given you are for dual system, not single. Most of the gas stations nowadays have 2 register systems. So all these prices I've quoted are for dual system. If you have if you need a single system, it will not be half the price that I quoted. It may be $3,000-$4,000 less. But again, your oil company, depending on which brand you are with, is offering some type of incentive. And I know that for a fact. Chevron is offering $7,000, and Shell, if I'm understanding them correctly, they're offering similar or little higher. And again, you have to, if you're with ExxonMobil or any other, you have to talk to your local rep for that company and ask them how much they're offering. But one important thing, the reason I'm doing this episode today is the deadline of some of these oil companies to pitch in and to share your expense most likely have passed or will expire by 31st December of 2015. So as long as you place an order, you are meeting the deadline. Your installation may be in January or February, but as long as you have placed a legitimate order with an approved vendor, you will get your reimbursement of whatever that percentage is from your oil company. So please contact your oil company's rep and find out if that money is still available. If it is, your cost, let's say you spend $20,000, and if your oil company pays you $7,000, that's quite a bit of money that you're getting paid back for your expense of $20,000. So you're only out $13,000 instead of $20,000. So it is helpful. And one more point I forgot to mention when I talked about the requirements. I only talked about gas station, but let's say you have a liquor store or you have a clothing store or any other type of retails where you only have a regular cash register, not a Gilbarco, none of that, and you have a credit card machine sitting on the side. That credit card machine also needs to be upgraded. So whoever is your processor, by all means contact them, and most likely they will change that machine for you for some cost. It could be $300, it could be $500, but it will not be $10,000 to $20,000. Only time you pay those type of money is when you buy a complete POS system that handles fuel and everything else for gas stations. But if you just have a regular retail store, your cost is much less, but I would advise you to contact your processor and get that upgrade done ASAP. Okay, let's answer number 4, I believe number 5, which is, what are the pros? The pros, the advantages of doing this upgrade is you can advertise, make your customer feel secure about coming to your store when they know that their new credit card that they're charging is being taken care of with the newest machine. They feel safe. They feel secure. They know that they don't have to call their credit card company a month later with a surprise bill of thousands of dollars charged on their card and fight and try to prove that it's not them who charged the card. So again, it's a safety issue. More importantly, it's a compliance issue. So the pros are you're getting a new register system. Most of you may already need a new register system because after few years, most of the registers get slowed down and start giving out errors and things. And a lot of you may need an upgrade anyway. So this is a good time to get an upgrade. That way, you know your store will run smoother, faster, and more safe. It's a safety thing, once again. Now, the cons are, it is expensive. As I said, it can cost as high as 20 or more thousands of dollars. But one thing I have not discussed yet, which is the credit card companies said, if you do not upgrade by the deadline, when a customer complains that their card has been stolen and been charged, usually credit card companies eat up that cost. But let's say they found out that there was a skimming device at your facility that caused this issue, they will put that bill on your tab. They will not pay for it. They will not charge the customer. You will be the one paying that. So God forbid, let's say a customer's credit card got stolen at your store, inside your store, not outside. As I said, the outside's deadline is another year and a half away. But let's say a credit card got stolen inside your store. Even today, if you haven't upgraded it yet, credit card companies soon can tell you, hey, this customer's card was charged at your store and at the same time it got stolen and somebody charged, let's say, $1,000 on that card. So you need to pay that. You cannot refuse because they notified you ahead of time that this is what will take place. So when you talk about pros and cons, I believe this is the biggest reason we need to upgrade, because you never know, you can be faced with thousands of dollars worth of credit card fraud bill that you did not create. Somebody else did it, but you're paying for it. That's not fair. But I believe that's one big reason to get this upgrade done. Now, the last question would be, or was, what should I do? Well, simply, first thing, if you haven't done anything, and let's say you're a branded gas station, talk to your brand manager. Find out if there is any incentive still available for you. And if it is, when is the deadline? Is it December 31st? Then ask them who are the vendors that they're going with right now. They will tell you at least 2 or 3 names. Call those vendors tomorrow. Ask them what's available, what can you go and see. Most of these vendors have an office where they set up all these systems. You can go play with them. Take a look, see which one, how they look, how they operate, and all that. Pick one based on your preferences, based on your budget. Ask them if you order how much money you have to put down and when they can install it. And then find out from your rep, once this system is installed, how can you get that rebate, that incentive back into your pocket? So first thing first. First, you need to contact your brand representative. Now, what if you were an unbranded gas station? I'm sure you have a jobber. Talk to your jobber. Most likely, if you're unbranded, then some of these deadlines do apply to you as well. So best thing to do is talk to your jobber or the people that process your credit cards if you're unbranded. Talk to them and see what's available for you. Now, let's say you absolutely have no funds to do anything right now. Notify your insurance company. See if they can sell you some type of insurance in the event you get faced with a large bill from this theft of credit cards. But one thing you need to do is call and find out where you stand. Now, what if you have a small retail store, sandwich shop, clothing store, liquor store that doesn't deal with gasoline or any other stuff. You still have a credit card machine at your store. Call that processing company, see what they can offer you. And as I said, it's not going to be very expensive when it comes to a regular credit card machine. It may be a couple of $100, few $100. Talk to them, see if you can get that upgrade done, and do it soon. That way, at least you know there is not going to be any surprises in the mail. And soon, when you check your mail, there is a bill from the credit card processing company saying that somebody stole a lot of credit card information from your store, which will not be a very good thing. Now, let's talk about what most of these major oil companies are doing. When they learn that there will be this EMV upgrade, they have come up with some more ideas that they would attach to this EMV upgrade when it comes to their own stores. For example, if you're an ExxonMobil site, when you do this upgrade, you download their software, they planned and added few customer parks to those software where, again, it's not a bad thing, but it's very much beneficial for your business and for their business. To give you an example, what I checked into is ExxonMobil, their system, every gas company, every fuel company have a name for their system or their upgrade. I know ExxonMobil is called EM1, and they broke it down into 3 parts, where the first one is card site device, which connects to a secure processing network. Then they have a firmware upgrade, which offers customers instant discount and sales. And if I'm not mistaken, it is something like if you have Coke for sale in your store, your customers will get to see that at the pump when you upgrade the inside and outside eventually. So see, it is beneficial for you, of course, and for your fuel company, for your oil company, because they get to sell fuel, more fuel, hopefully, because people will feel secure and they will feel more connected to the site. So it is, again, it is a good thing, not a bad thing. If you're a branded site, as I said, with the EMV upgrade, you get few perks, few benefits added to that for no other additional cost. And again, every fuel company has added a few things. I'm just giving you an example for ExxonMobil. And the third thing they did is they are connecting that with a broadband connection where they can maximize the technology and consumer loyalty program. You know, every major fuel brand company has a loyalty program where you buy so much of gasoline, you spend so much dollar, you earn so much points, and you spend this or do that. And when you upgrade, this loyalty program is coming right at them at the pump, along with, as I said, the advertisement and the promotions and whatnot. So these are very good things to have. And again, you're not going to pay extra to have them. So why not have them? Similarly, Shell has a program called Vantage program. And again, they have their own loyalty program that will come to the pump directly once the outside pumps are upgraded. And again, similarly, Shell, Chevron, Exxon, Mobil, Texaco, and you name it. Everybody has their own program and they're implementing it along with the EMV upgrade. And again, you're paying for the register system, but you're not paying for those extra benefits that are attached to that. But if you are an unbranded site, you're not getting those, but you're being secured. That is the most important thing, of course. The goal is security. So regardless what business you have, if you have a credit card machine, if you take people's credit card, customers' credit card, by all means, check into this upgrade so you can comply and be safe, knowing you will not be handed a bill next month for thousands of dollars. Hope I was able to answer most of the questions that were asked in last month and a half. And once again, my apology for not addressing these questions any earlier. As you all know, I've been working on a new store, and what I wanted to do in next episode is I would like to share a case study. I will share some numbers and some P&Ls from a prospective business and create a scenario to see some of you would agree if we should buy the business or if we should back out, and if we should back out, why we need to back out, and if we should go forward, why we should go forward. So I want you to put your thinking cap on when you listen to the next episode, and hopefully you will give me some comments and suggestions and your thoughts. Now, let's recommend a book like I do in every episode. And in today's episode, the book I want to recommend is called Secrets of a Master Closer, a simpler, easier, and faster way to sell anything to anyone, anytime, anywhere, by Mike Kaplan. You may be surprised why I'm recommending this book to you, because you're not a salesman or salesperson, I should say. Well, in other way, if you really think about it, we're all in sales. We sell products to customer. This book is written for salespeople. But come to think of it, we're all in sales because that's what we do. We sell merchandise to people. Then why not be more creative when it comes to selling so we can sell more and make more money at the end of the day, right? I believe if you read this book, you will enjoy it and maybe learn a few tricks about selling. So with that, let's join again in next episode when, as I said, where I will share a case study and hopefully you will give me some inputs on that. I want you to think and be creative and have your analytical part of your brain working at the same token. So take care and I will see you in the next episode.
This has been the one and only Gas Station Business 101 podcast with your host, Shabir Hossein. This podcast was brought to you by CSB Academy Publishing Company. Be sure to join us next time as we share with you the secrets about how to start and operate a gas station business successfully and make money.